Is Apple Computer really the next big AI stock? Hi, my name is Doug Weiss. I've been an investor for 40 years, and this is Wise Investing. Is Apple Computer an AI stock? If you look at the stock market, the answer is a big no. Most of the market is looking at Apple Computer as a has-been company. I know that's crazy to say because it's probably one of the most owned companies in the world. It's a $2.8 trillion market cap. Obviously, it's not an unknown stock. But most investors, especially the talking heads on television, have sort of discredited Apple as far as being an AI boom stock. And I really disagree. I think Apple really has the potential to be the biggest stock in the AI craze, probably secondary only to NVIDIA. Here's why. There's two areas that Apple Computer can really capitalize on the AI craze. The first is interface. When computing first started, when I first got involved in looking at the internet, which was probably 1993, 1994, we were using personal computers. That was our primary way that we accessed the internet. We went on AOL, we got mail. It was your PC. Fast forward, the next big innovation was the iPhone. Having an internet-ready phone was the way we all interfaced with the internet. And that's pretty much true today. You look at your phone when you're trying to browse the internet. If you want to look at TikTok or YouTube or anything, you're probably going to use your phone. A lot of people have really gotten away from using their PCs or using their computers. I've often thought that there was going to have to be, at some point, a new way to interface with the internet. And I think the AI craze is going to do just that. My guess is that Apple Computer will be the star of the stock market this year because it'll introduce a new way of interacting with the internet via a new device. Now, I'm not talking about a Siri or an Alexa here. I think that to really make the best of AI, you're going to need something that has memory, something that you have ports on that you can plug devices into, because I think that the way that people really are going to want to interact with AI is through some type of virtual assistant that draws on AI to actually run things. Imagine if you get home from work and something greets you right when you come in and say, "Hey Doug, did you have a rough day? What's going on?" And you say, "Yeah, I've had a difficult day today. I just want to take it easy." And the assistant responds with, "Hey, how about some easy ways to make dinner? I can give you 3 recipes of how to do 2-step things." Or maybe it even knows what's in your refrigerator and it says, right now your best bet is to make a frozen pizza, or here's the best way to mix a cocktail. Imagine something that doesn't just respond when you ask it to, but actually anticipates what you might need. Maybe it just listens to you, says, "Tell me about your day," and we're seeing that people respond to psychology when it's an AI chatbot. We're seeing that people use AI to do just what I'm talking about. But imagine a simple device where my 89-year-old uncle can talk to it and say, "Hey, Siri," and talk to it, and Siri talks back to it and says, "Hey, Bill, did you remember to take your pills? How are you feeling today? Do you want me to call your nephew?" There could be a level of interaction with this thing that we've never seen before. The other aspect of it is, and I think that's something that people really haven't thought about, is the tie-in with home robotics. Right now, I have a Roomba. A lot of people have Roombas. If you don't have one, you certainly know what they are. Imagine if your AI assistant was actually watching over your Roomba and making sure if your Roomba got stuck that maybe it sends it a little different code or some different commands to help it get unstuck. Maybe the home AI assistant utilizes the cameras in your house to coordinate things like that. And there could be other robotic devices that would use. There's the potential here for a company like Apple that has the money, the clout, and the computing knowledge to build something that's revolutionary. And I think what that's going to be is an AI personal assistant interface. I'm picturing a screen, or maybe it just hooks onto your television. It should have some memory because it needs to store data about you that's not just being stored on the cloud, and it needs to readily access that data. Maybe you could even upload your pictures into it, and it could do something with AI to help you feel better when you walk in and you've had a bad day. Maybe it shows you pictures of your grandkids. The point is that Apple has the ability, more than any other company in the world, to make an AI device that everyone can use. And for that reason alone, I think Apple is going to star this year. I think they're going to release information about this when we see them in June, but I really think before the end of this year, Apple is going to enter AI in a way that we've never seen before. But there's another thing about Apple that has me extremely excited about this company. I recently attended an international neurology conference, and one of the speeches at that conference was about whether or not people should have a loop monitor inserted in their heart to monitor their heart, whether or not that was a good idea. A few years ago, I went to the same conference, and they were talking about the wonders of loop monitors. A loop monitor is sort of like a little device the size of a pacemaker. They insert it in your heart to monitor your rhythm. So if you have AFib or you have ventricular tachycardia, this thing is recording it all the time, and that way when you go to see your doctor, he can download it and see what's going on. Well, loop monitors actually revolutionized cardiology and neurology, because what it told us was that people are having arrhythmias a lot more often than anyone suspected. That actually AFib is happening almost all the time in every single patient they put a loop monitor in. And so there was this great excitement that maybe we should be putting loop monitors in everybody that has any kind of cardiac history to help the doctors medicate you and give you surgeries that would prevent more massive events. Then comes along the iWatch. And what we're learning now is that the software that's in the iWatch is so good that at this conference, one of the titles of the videos was whether or not we should not be giving everyone a loop monitor because of the iWatch, because of wearables. Apple's not the only manufacturer of wearables, I know that. But what we're learning is these wearables, these things that you put on your wrist, are so sensitive and so good right now that they're actually better than a loop monitor. Now, maybe you don't understand that, or maybe this is not your area of expertise, but what I'm telling you is this is changing how medicine is practiced. So several of my neurology friends were talking about this the other day, and what they were saying was, we were talking about AI and how AI software is now being used at hospitals and emergency rooms and doctors' offices to help doctors make better decisions. What has to happen is you've got to input all of the data about a patient into the AI, and then the AI looks at all the potential problems that could be causing those symptoms. It's doing the job of a very experienced doctor. I mean, when you go to the doctor, here's how it works. They listen to you for a couple of minutes, they take a look at your symptoms, and then basically they have to formulate a diagnosis right then and there to begin treating you. And the problem with that is, if their diagnosis is wrong, they're going to lead you down a path that's wrong. They're going to give you treatments that don't really address your problem. And that happens all the time. Someone told me one time that 80% of the time when they guess within 2 minutes what's wrong with you, they're right. But 20% of the time they're wrong. And if you've ever been a patient, if you've ever gone to the hospital or an emergency room, you probably know what I'm talking about. If the doctor doesn't guess correctly in the first few minutes, you're in trouble because he might be treating the wrong thing. And that happens every single day. What AI does is it helps the doctor see all the potential possibilities of what could be causing those symptoms in a more clear format so he can make a better decision. But here's how I think Apple Computer can capitalize on this. It's the iWatch. I think in the next few generations of the iWatch, that doctors are just now waking up to the realization that the software and the sensitivity and the metrics on the iWatch actually can give them a better understanding of what's going on with their patient than seeing the patient in the office. Imagine if you go to your doctor in a couple of years and he says, okay, before you even come back, the nurse comes out, takes your iWatch, downloads all your data from the last few months. You sit with the doctor, and instead of the doctor measuring your blood pressure in the office, which is often higher than it normally is, or taking your blood work right then and there, he has 2 months of data on how you're doing, what your blood pressure is 24/7, what your sleep is like, what your oxygen utilization is like, what your heart rate has been, if you're getting arrhythmias, and how often are you getting arrhythmias. He has all that information. You're going to get better care. In fact, this is going to revolutionize medicine as we know it today. My prediction is that we won't see the doctor without downloading all the data from our iWatch if we're over 50, probably in 2 years. That's how close we are to this happening. And who's going to provide that device? I believe it's Apple Computer. They're making inroads in everything, in measuring blood pressure, in measuring oxygen saturation, in diabetes detection, in everything. Apple Computer is going to make a wearable that's going to be integral to everybody's health once they're over the age of 50 in 2 to 3 years. You want to own Apple Computer just for that, because just like the iWatch, just like the iPhone, just like the iPod, Apple is going to be the ones that are going to create a device, a wearable device that actually works, that interacts with everything else that we use, maybe even your new personal AI assistant. And that's going to change not just medicine, but health. I'm already using my iWatch to tell me how many steps I'm walking, if I'm getting any arrhythmias, what my sleep is like. I'm happy to do that. And I know that I tend to be an early adopter. If I'm doing it now, a lot of people are going to be doing it a year from now. But what I've seen is the positive effects of that on my own life. My iWatch has gotten me to learn to take more steps. It's getting me to try things like intermittent fasting and monitoring my blood pressure more often. That's gotten me to be healthier. I didn't think I was unhealthy, but I'm definitely healthier because of my iWatch. I think that the investing public is underestimating the potential of that market. I think that market alone is going to be equal to what the iPhone market is today. So for these reasons, I think that everyone should look at Apple Computer as the next big AI stock. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.